It's I'm used to it. I like what I'm used to. All right, let's see. All right, we're in there. We're 15 seconds in. all y'all, all yuns, use guys, depends where you use y'all. Happy Monday. Today is February 7th, 2022. I am Mark, your host, with the Anyone Can Farm chat. Coming to you from Marion, Michigan, Baker Acres, back room of my house. Nobody's on yet, so I'm going to just rattle. It doesn't really matter because people watch this, the next day. I have a lot of people tell me that they pretty faithfully. I haven't checked the numbers lately, honestly. I just don't get around to it. It's not really my focus, but I hear that the trajectory is pretty good. I've heard that as far as the Anyone Can Farm experience, that we're doing really well. In 1 month, we have 200 subscribers. So the idea is to get 10,000 subscribers, and then it puts you in a place where the YouTube people start pushing you out there because they like that your content brings people to listen to you. Yeah, I guess that's what they like. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not that worried about that. Hey, DeClerc Homestead's with us. Beth, Tommy DeClerc split her beef the other day. Very nice people. I have a subject for tonight. Shies. And it may be a bit of offensive, but I've started to realize that not offending people is dangerous, really dangerous. So today, I didn't get a work day, and as a matter of fact, I didn't do much of anything. I had a dental appointment at 11 o'clock, and it's a half-hour drive there, so I was kind of limited. And actually, since I went to and came back, and I had that tooth problem, I'm not used to health issues. So when I have a health issue, it's just like it's devastating. And I guess people that have health issues all the time, they can learn to take it in stride. I should, but it really affected me. And I was explaining it to my family this morning at breakfast, and they were making fun of me, of course. But I told them that the pain from my abscess tooth was about threefold. It was partly, I've got a pain in my tooth, and because of me being me, I won't have it with our new dentist's office, right? And so that was like a conflict resolved in my mind. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm not going there anymore, but I'm going to. This was when I was down in Texas. I gotta go to a dentist. It's that, or find an ice skate someplace in my mouth and hit it with a rock. I got to do something. When I got home, while I was down there, I had an interface with folks, and this bad toothache was getting to me. So I started taking aspirin. I take 2 aspirin. Well, that doesn't touch it. Okay, I'll take 4. That gave me a little relief. And then next time, and it got to be where I was just taking 10, woo, and then chasing it with a bunch of water. And it would give me enough relief where I could, but then I could feel it creeping back. And then it was like, well, I can't keep doing this, but I got it, and I was telling the kids that after a while, it was like, well, this isn't just a toothache. This must be some alien worm that's been put in me by the deep state, right? It has to be. So I might as well just take more aspirin. That's kind of how your mind can go. It wasn't quite that bad. But then when I got home and I went to see the dentist, who I am going to give a shout out for in a minute, because it's what we're talking about here. A lot of my subjects come day-to-day activity, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But all right, it's with us, Off-Grid North Farm. Belva Rockwell's with us. Right on, Belva. Hello, Belva. That's one of those names. Belva, get up that tree. That's another story I have to tell you. But it wasn't Belva. It was Melby. I'll tell you that story another time. If you ask me the story about Melby. But let me finish. So I went to see the dentist, and he says, well, bad news. We're going to have to yank that out. Flooring me. Going to yank a tooth out? Right? So, yeah, ballistic. I'm the same way. Alien worms, they bother. So, well, you could do it right now. He says, but it might hurt. And that was like, oh. And I said, well, I got things to do. So he says, okay, well, schedule it up front, antibiotics to knock the infection down and see what happens. But it was going to be for a week and then a day. I had to get through the weekend. But I'm figuring that, it isn't an alien worm. It's just a tooth. And he's going to fix me up. Of course, I'm going to have to go through my tooth getting pulled. But I don't have to worry about it until next Wednesday, and I got a lot of things to do in the meantime. So I'll just tough it on through. Well, he gave me some pain meds, and they were Tylenol with codeine in it, and I took that. And the first time I took that, my stomach hurt really bad, and it got worse. And I put me back where I was back in 1993, where I had a back injury in 90. That's a whole story too, but it was just a bulging disc is what they said, but it caused sciatic nerve right leg, and I thought my life was over. So it was another thing like that. It was like I had so much pain. They were giving me Vicodin. That made me crazy. And they were trying physiotherapy. And then finally, hey, we're the only thing we can do is cut you open and saw your vertebrae off and then fuse it back together. And luckily, there was somebody in my life that said, don't do that. Your body might heal itself. But if you have an injury like that, that's going to affect you the rest of your life. So I didn't do it, luckily. But it was so bad that I couldn't even stand in line in a store. I would wind up leaving whatever I had and just going and finding someplace where I could sit down. And then I had to lay down, actually. So I was shopping mall one time. Wound up laying down on a bench, and somebody came over to me if I was all right. No, I'm not. But anyway, I got an ulcer from that. I think I just did that same exact thing to myself over this tooth thing. Well, the tooth got pulled up one day. Well, 2 weeks ago today, it got pulled out, and I'm still complaining about it, Jack. But it was pretty bad. But I guess in the grand scheme of people who have medical problems, it was probably not that bad. But for me, it was bad because we live way, and so I don't have that many medical problems or any. So anyway, the dentist today to see the hygienist, a very nice person, the community. actually seen her at football games, and we just had a pretty good rapport right away. And she looked me over, and I am okay, except for I'm missing a tooth, which is all right. I can even chew on that side. Uh, really tough state. I just ate a carrot, not a problem. My gum is toughened up, and I'm good shape. But I tell you what I learned from this is I am going to make sure that I am there when they say I need to be there every 6 months. It's maintenance. I'm not paying for it. I have insurance, so important to me that I don't go down that road again. I felt kind of guilty I let it happen. I hadn't been in a dentist in 3 years because I was hating the dentist that so much over things, right? Just things. But anyway, the conversation in the dentist's office caused me to think. And normally, I have those kind of conversations with you guys, and it's like talk about all kinds of things. But you got to be careful when you're in places where you know everybody, right? Especially where they can knock you out if they want to. But the conversation was led into by the hygienist, and evidently knows a little bit about what we do here and things like that. And I may have volunteered a little information, but it was, from her, I got that her and her husband are trying to be more sufficient. And I question, well, how, and I agree, but I wanted to get her information, and it was just standard stuff, and we've got a new place to live, and we're going to have it this year and things like that. The conversation intensified, right? And of course, I may have ramped it up a notch or two, but I said something like, a garden in these times is not a luxury. I believe it's a necessity, and I think that you should approach it with a sense of urgency that a mother would have towards her children. And that opened the floodgates. All right, then it was like, well, that's what I feel, and all that. And so it opened the floodgates, and I made the statement that, we're not here alone. We are not here alone. And although, all right, YouTube's. All right, Jack. Anybody else? Is it breaking up on anybody else? How can you hear me there, Ballistic? You got me? Off grid, you got me? You guys got me? How am I coming through? This has been a problem not only with me. Lenny, you got me? Okay. But this has been a theme noticed on the internet is signals are weak or overloaded or something. But people are having, no, it's good. Hear you loud and clear. Breaking up a little, Inga says. All right. Well, Inga, will you keep me posted? Somebody let me know if it goes off, because I think this is a concept that I feel like I need to talk about this today. And with you, I need to talk about this. Missing about every fourth word. Up some. Gee. What do you think? Let me refresh it and see where it lands. So stand by one. I'm going to hit the refresh button and see what happens. Refresh. All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. We're in the refresh mode. I got the chat on. Most of you hung with it. Let's see if we've got a good thing going. If we, I will save this until we do. This is look, what isn't critical right now? That's my point here. What isn't critical? There's always two sides of things. Are you guys hearing me? I got thumbs up. Can I get thumbs ups? I can't tell if anybody's got me at all. Jill, can you hear me? Okay. It's the same, but we can understand you. Okay. That sucks. All right. Justin Z, you with us? About the same, but thumbs up. Are you on the sauce tonight? No. What sauce is that? I'm going to go. This is an important thing. And the thing about this is if it hurts your feelings, then do something about it. It's not me, it's the internet. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, brother. Internet. It's their interest. It's their internet. Okay. Well, let me go for it. And I know that this is going to be painful, but if it is, do something about it. Do something about it. So my conversation with the hygienist today, I said, well, another thing that's a good idea these days is to build your tribe. And she said, when you say something and people kind of, what do you mean? And I said, like the people around you that you can depend on. And she was still kind of, And then I had to say, like people who are useful, people that have a purpose. When I walked into the dentist's office today, there were 4 people in there. 2 of them did not even lift their heads to look at me. And the one that did, the other one was a kid that was playing a video game. But the one that did, a woman looked up at me and then didn't acknowledge me or anything, just looked down, and I said, how is everybody today? And not one of them said a word. Not a word. They were playing video games on their phones or whatever. And I just thought, I looked at these folks and too good. And, I don't want to make any assumptions. They might have been Canadian truckers or some of those. They might have been real heroes. But looked kind of like nothing mattered, like zombies, sort of. And we have a lot of people who around, I guess we have them everywhere, who do not work and entitled to dental health and mental health and physical health and all that stuff. And so they take up a lot of positions in waiting rooms, like around here, you go to the ER with a bad cut and you're going to be, you may be there a while, it's pretty pathetic, but we have a lot of that. And I had to say to my hygienist person, building your tribe right now might be one of the most critical thing that you can do. And it's sort of like planting trees. You should have done it last year. Now, we have a tribe here, don't we? We have a tribe. I can think right now, hey, Nancy Dort, if I needed to know how to do just about anything, mechanical things, electrical things, refrigeration things, and probably about a million other things, I'd get on the phone with Justin and call him and ask him, and he would probably have several good answers for me. And that is because we have built this tribe. We put pictures of things up on the tribe page, and the next thing I see is old Justin puts up a picture of, oh yeah, well, watch me butcher a cow, and I thought it was great. I really did. It made me like a flush into my heart. I felt good to see that, and I'm not saying that he would have never done that if it wasn't for me. That's not what I'm saying. It just makes me feel good that I associate with people that will do that. It's not easy to do that. I had a long conversation with the woman today that is part of the tribe, become a good friend, and has called on me for assistance to help her through some of the portions of butchering her cow. She's got a real pain in the neck that needs to be hamburgered. And I feel good about that. I really do. I feel great at that. Now, don't get the idea that I'm going to go running to Indiana to help somebody butcher a cow. I don't have the time to do. Me and her are working on some joint projects, actually for the tribe. We're working on a logo and a couple other things. And I think that because we live so close together, that is a reason, and I want to approach that. So, Nancy's in the tribe. Nancy's way up there in Canada, right? And so it limits. We are a virtual tribe, and yeah, we could talk on the phone and trade information and stuff, motivate, and all that stuff. We can do that. We really can. So I don't want to discount this tribe in any way. I don't. I made my heavy duty gambrel, and I have two, and I only need one. So one of them's yours. I just got to get it to you. Eastern Nova Scotia. I knew that. I should write it down on the table here. I sometimes think Nova Scotia and then British Columbia, like they're interchangeable. Nowadays, you Canadians, man, you are in the news. I mean, it's so entertaining. I shared, by the way, I'll just put this out there right now. Any of you that are on my Facebook, the Mark Baker Facebook, like my personal page, I shared a interview that the interviewer, her name's Julie. Here, this is important too. Unruly Julie, probably. No, she was not unruly. Let's see. How do you find your own stuff? There it is. I don't remember her name, but there it is right there. Canada. Julie. She is a professor at university, I think close down here by Huron University, and she refused to take the you-know-what, and they booted her. And she was like, see ya. So this interview was her interviewing Jordan Peterson, and it was delightful, actually, listening to her and her questions, and just a level-headed person. Really liked her. Mr. J, hey Mark, I've been lost without you, but you helped me find you. I'll be here for whatever. All right. I guess you must have found us. It's the Anyone Can Farm experience. That's on YouTube now. We're not gonna. We are gonna share these over onto the Baker's Green Acres, but we're encouraging people to come over and subscribe. The Anyone Can Farm experience. All right, because we were throttled over there. Right, we were throttled without doubt. So it might be from old stuff. But, our focus now is more homestead related things, small farm. It's not about struggling with wiener governments that are losing their grasp on their own sanity these days. So let's see, where was I? We have our virtual tribe here, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But if I need somebody to show me how to hook up battery jumper cables, which it can be quite sophisticated sometimes. Well, I suppose I could call up Justin on that. I suppose I could. Let's see. It's more like if I needed somebody to take care of a member of my family while I go hunt buffalo out in the Rocky Mountains, I would need somebody close by. So my thought has been, and this is just me, and this has been something that has been difficult for me because I'm not a guy. I don't ask for help much. I just don't. It's easier for me to figure it out on my own than to ask for help. And I'm very careful of who I ask for help. I have the guy here, Ty Stroud, that when I get in a bind with equipment and I really can't figure it out, I call him, and he has been very good friend. He's been a very good friend of coming in, showing me how to straighten things out. And that's what I mean. There has to be somebody that lives close to you, right? And it works both ways. He's got a full-time gig driving his own rig. He's a trucker. And so this is my full-time gig. Well, I can depend on him and he can depend on me. So this is what this is about. Now, why would the guy's skilled when it comes to maintenance type things, especially small farms things, because his whole life was there. And why does he jump when I ask him for help? Why does he jump? And it's because I'm really good at what I do, right? And he's attended a couple of classes on me. And it's because I want him to get better at what he does. I want it. And, what's his mission? His mission is he's got to take care of this family. He's got several kids and a wife and, build his life out. He's got to build it out. And I want him to be successful at that. This is a tribe principle, right? This guy is a part of my tribe. And so I want to protect him. I want to educate him. I want to make sure he's well fed to the best of my ability. I want to make sure that he has got everything that I can provide him. That's what I want. That's what I want for him. Why? Because he's part of my tribe. Why is he part of my tribe? Because he's good at stuff. He's good at stuff. And I'm not telling you only have people in your tribe that are good at like maintenance things. You may have somebody in your tribe. I have another guy that's in my tribe. He doesn't live around here. He's from my previous life when I was a kid, actually, before I moved out to Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. And we've been friends for 40 years, 50 years now. And he's a comedian. He is literally a comedian. So I always get a laugh when I call him. He doesn't live around here, but he is a professional funny guy. No, he didn't really get paid for it. He's in construction, but he's a professional funny guy. I got another guy in Massachusetts, just one of these guys that when we were kids, he was fearless and he could assess a situation, decision, stay or go, right? And very trustworthy individual, very trustworthy. And I'm still friends with him to this day. And when things come up like this, this pandemic, I did call him and say, "What's your read on this?" And we didn't agree. We didn't agree. He was very trusting of the authorities because he just was. So we didn't agree on that, and I don't think that he probably agrees with them anymore. I don't think anybody does. I think you have to be a little bit oxygen deprived to trust these people anymore. So anyway, your tribe. I have quite a few of my family members that I can depend on, to do things. And today I explained to the dentist and the hygienist about, well, I think that you all have become very essential personnel to me. I want you to know that because I've got 8 kids and a dentist is something that we need. We need. They are mission essential. You are mission essential to us, right? And get a toothache. Can you imagine if you had 2 or a mouthful of toothache? How debilitating that could be for you, right? So I believe that these 2 individuals, I want them in my tribe. And I said, I definitely want you in my tribe. I feed you, I can feed you. Now, they're not, it was a new concept to them. I could tell from the looks on their faces, somewhat. And I don't think they were going to say, okay. And I'm not thinking the guy was thinking, what are you going to trade me chickens for fillings? No. We'll keep on doing the things the way we, right? I want you to get paid. You're in my tribe, so I want to make sure that you get paid in what you can, in currency that you can utilize, but at some point you might need chickens. At some point, the currency that the insurance company is paying you might not buy you chickens. Then you might need chickens, or you might need beef, or you might need, pork, or you might need somebody else in the tribe. You might need one of my other contacts in the tribe. So after a while, when you play this through and you utilize your tribe, you go out into the world, and when you talk to somebody, your approach is completely different. It isn't, yeah, I got to talk to you because you're my Aunt Sally. You're probing them for what person's good for. It's like Survivor Island. What's she good for? Or what's he good for? How could a relationship with this person be mutually beneficial? Yeah. Might sound a bit creepy, huh? A bit creepy, right? Survivor Island. What's this person good for? Is this just some, person that's odd, and because they're odd and weird, that better be nice to him because he's odd and weird and got some deviant type behaviors and stuff. No, all of a sudden, I don't care about that. Are you good for something? Can you fish? Are you, do you know things about human health? How about animal health? How about, can you butcher? Can you deliver a baby? Are you a carpenter? Are you a pipe fitter? Can you weld? Can you sew? Can you cook, for a great amount of people? Cooks got to be like, they're soldiers, right? That is a brutal line of work. Because when everybody else is sitting down and eating, you're they're a different breed. Believe me, they're a different breed. And so on. Are you comfortable on the end of a shovel, on the end of a hoe? Do you have some idea of electrical? Can you do electrical? Can you troubleshoot stuff? I have always felt really good when somebody has a question about something and they say, "Hey, what's the story on this?" And you're asking me? Okay, I guess I do have some knowledge on that because I have gone down that road. So I'll tell you what I know. And I hear you, Mark. Greenbow, Alabama is a little far away to get some neighborly help. We all got to develop by those close to us for a hands-on tribe. Right on, man. But don't underestimate the tribe that we have here, right? And I'm going to get there. But develop a tribe where you're at. You may be, Andy, you're the guy to do that. You really are. And because you're personable, and I don't know, get certain qualities that I think people will, yeah, I'll help old Andy, or Andy, I'll call him. He knows how to do this stuff. And you stuck with the Air Force for a long enough time, and you're in with enough defied people, and you just learn stuff, I wanted to see if you agreed with what I'm going to say. I was thinking about you today, of other guys in the tribe, other military people in the tribe. With a guy today. I think he's in the tribe, but I don't think he tunes in. And he's an Air Force captain. He came and took one of our classes. I wonder if, Andy, you were in that class. And Justin, were you guys in that class? That was, his name was Nick, and his wife is blonde. She was interning down at Face. All right. So anyway, I was talking with him today because of what I'm going to go into. I mean, I had this boom revelation the day before yesterday. I want to talk about that. It has to do with tribe building. And I called him on my way back from the dentist today and talked with him, and it was so refreshing. He's an academy guy, right? And they have a way about them, but it made me feel so at home and so protected. And I've said this before, in the Air Force, you admit it more once you're out. We loved our officers. Now, there's always the odd turd, and I can picture 1, 2, 3, and they were, all three of them were very liberal. They were like pushing some agenda of fairness, and it was crazy. But everyone just, and I was on one of them staff too, which was really crazy. But when they would start to run their mouth at a staff meeting, it was just like, you just close right down, because it was accusatory, actually, of the attitude that I don't give a shit about you feeling fair. We've got a mission here, But when all of a sudden the mission was not flying airplanes and the mission was being fair, it closed everybody down. And under that leadership, things went south quick. But I was there 20 years, so I had a lot of officers, and I think some of the best education that I ever got was from the officers that I was exposed to. Some of the most kind, compassionate people that I have ever met. I mean, I have such a myriad of faces in my mind that I am looking forward to seeing them the next time. I really am. Anyway, I was saying that. Do you feel that way, Andy? I mean, did you? I know we had some bad ones, but man, there was some really bad NCOs too, and airmen. There was a whole bunch of bad ones then. But anyway, I was talking with him about this today, and he grabbed the concept right away. It's like I told him, "Hey Nick, I want to talk to you," and he was like, "Yeah, hey, I'm free today." And I said, "I can't. I got people here, but how about tomorrow?" Yeah, he wanted to nail down a time. Boom, 12:30 or 1, perfect. And I got him at 12:45, which, you're dealing with Air Force officers. You better be on time, right? And I love that. I just love that. So we did talk about this, and he grasped the idea of a tribe, for survivalism and mutual education, mutual edification, support of each other, instead of, well, he's not, he's not as good as he says he is, and this guy, well, he thinks he is, that attitude, that the tearing down, and I've done too much of that. But I don't want to do any of it. Who would want you in their tribe if that's how you are, So there's a lot of reasons why you would be an essential member of somebody's tribe in your area. And a lot of it has to do with, what are you good for? What can you do? If I was to interview somebody, let's say we had a formal tribal, you had to have a tattoo on you and everything like that, or get something sewed on or sewed off or something like that. I think as a person that's been in the position that I've been, I would not so much what can you do, but what are you willing to do? What is your attitude towards, is it, no, I don't know how to do that. No, I don't wash windows, or is it, no, I'll do whatever you want me to do. If I don't know how to do it, I'll learn it. Hey, you're on my team. You're on my team. I want you close, right? So that type of thing, when it comes to tribe building, and somebody has to initiate this process, right? You have to initiate this, and I think it might as well be you guys. Initiate tribes in your location, and you decide. Do you want them close by? Within walking distance, running distance, horse distance, mini bike distance, what, it's up to you. I think for me, I think anything that's within my perimeter that I travel anyway, I think that's a decision for me to make, of who I would say, it's a good thing that we're both in this together. I would really like it if you would consider me someone that you can depend on. I think that's how I would approach that, and that's what I said today. So, hey, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Mitch Thompson. I'm sorry, Doctor of Dental Medicine, DDM, right? And it's Lake City Family Dentistry. I found the staff to be really nice, personal, fun. He's a real down-to-earth guy. Young, he was 29, but he's a young dentist. But he pulled one of my teeth, and I was apprehensive about it. I've never had a tooth pulled, and it was painless, But still, the professionalism was there, and I appreciate his approach to things. And local guy, so I want to give him a shout out here. If you decide that you're going to use a new dentist around here, consider him. Go visit the office and talk with him a little bit. But I'm giving him a referral here to you all to do that. So there you go, Mitch. Thanks for pulling my tooth, but you didn't give it to me. All right, I haven't been reading the things here. Okay, so building a tribe, building a group of people around you that can do things. And I did see here real quick, it was off grid, said, I can do all those things, something like that. And, maybe someday, I don't see it now, but maybe someday we'll develop a curriculum. I don't know what it'd be called, but I was kind of thinking about it today, actually. I don't know what it'd be called, but it would be, you get a bunch of people in a room and then you single somebody out. I mean, total discomfort. I want you to come up here right now and I want you to tell me what you're good for. Run through it. What are you good for? Oh, that could be kind of uncomfortable. It could be kind of uncomfortable. And it's almost like discouraged to say something like that. Like everybody, right? Nowadays, everybody should get a trophy. Everybody should be treated fairly. Everybody should be, we're all, you know what I mean? That kind of attitude where I don't think that's very good. I know it's not good for me. I know when I worked for, I had a certain job in the Air Force for a while. It was an augmentee position. So I was working with a group that was off the base that I was on. And it was a secure radio outfit. And a long time where I couldn't even say anything about that. But nowadays, they don't even use that equipment anymore. It's completely different the way it's done. However, at the time, you could not say that, well, I work for this, because then you could be targeted as somebody who could be co-opted, right? So you didn't say anything about it. But anyway, I did. I worked for them for a couple of years. And the man that I worked for, I'll leave his name out. When he interviewed me and one other guy from the place that I worked, he said, he really said, so what are you good at? And it just so happens that I had been through a different interviewing process. And so I had these things right there, where what would I have said to him before? Well, I've done glass work. I'm a good shot with a pellet gun. I can skin squirrels. I can skip a rock probably 5 or 6 times every time, right? I got a good arm. I can throw stuff really far. But I had been through an interview process where I was coached on what to say, and what it came down to is this guy is going to hire you, and we're going to go places where you don't have the luxury of saying, well, I don't do that. I don't do windows, man. I don't do that. You'd be out of there so fast. You can't say I don't do that. That's not an option. If this sergeant asks you to do this, you're going to do it, or you're going to die trying if you want to stay there. And if you go home with your tail between your legs, that would not be a good thing. So I said to him something like, well, and I went through a list of things that I could do. Didn't have anything to do with the Air Force. It had to do with growing up in my father's home. My father was Air Corps, and he used to say, never say die, well, you can do this. I had a chainsaw in my hand, I think, when I was 10 years old. I wanted to try it, and he said, okay. I remember distinctly the summer that I got my tonsils out. We went and stayed at Lake Champlain in Vermont, on the Vermont side. And I said to him, can I take the boat out? We were staying at this place, had the boat, and it was just a stern drive motorboat, and I was good at starting it. And when we were out on the lake, he let me drive it. And so he just said, yeah, all right. I was 6. I was first grade. And I went out and went around and brought it in, and there wasn't a problem. But as a father myself, I thought, that kid could get out a little far and do something stupid, and you can't get to him because there isn't another boat. And so he just assessed it and said, yeah, I think it'd be all right. It was. But that's why I knew how to do so many things. I was able to, I do carpentry, I operate a chainsaw, I can split wood, I can butcher stuff, I can cook, I can sew stuff, I've been trained in self-aid buddy care, plus I was a lifeguard for a while. I was a children's camp counselor for a while. Worked at a gas station. I can do tires. I can do oil changes. I know brakes really good. I can tune up a car, on and on and on. And my repertoire has just gotten more since then. So I think we all need to, honestly, I'm not kidding here. We need to sit down and make a list and get that in the front of your mind. What are you good for? What are you good for? And if you don't have many things written down, that's not my problem. That's yours. And if you're still moving, I don't care if you're moving slow. Find something and learn it. And I wouldn't be looking at bookbinding right now. I really wouldn't. I'd be looking at things that are going to feed you, going to protect you, going to house you, and so on. All the things that we talk about. Can you deliver a baby? Can you stitch a wound? Ooh, I have never done that, but I know I could because I practiced it with other things. Right? So I think that's an important thing. I think it's, I don't want somebody in my tribe that I have to coddle, I don't want somebody in the tribe that is psychotic. That's not good because the tribe is like a chain and we're as strong as our weakest member. So in my immediate tribe, like my cadre right around me, would I call somebody out? As an Air Force sergeant, I had to call people out a lot. Now, I wouldn't do it in front of other people, but there were many times where I called people in the office and said, I don't think you're going to like this because I know I don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to talk to you about this. This is setting a very bad precedence for this unit, your behavior, or whatever. And if you're going to stay with us, you're going to change it, or you're not going to be with us. And actually, I had 2 people that worked directly for me that the commander went with my, not only mine, but mine and the section supervisor that, and I recommend the section supervisor. I don't think there's anything we can do here. This individual does not want to perform this mission, wants to perform something else, but we're here to do this. And I don't think we can use this individual. So I know I can't. If you guys can motivate this individual, go ahead. But other than that, my recommendation is they need to be probably in the Navy. So, and that's life. That's uncomfortable for me to do that. And I even think back on those 2 individuals, and am I going to run into them sometime? But no, they didn't want to be in the Air Force. They thought the Air Force was something else, and it wasn't. So in our tribes, are they going to be like little clubs of sociality? Think about it. I know my group isn't. My group of capable people that can do what needs to get done, no matter what it is. And they train each other, they help each other, they call each other out, they praise each other when the time is right. So that's, essential. That is essential. All right. So let me look back here a little bit and see if there's anything, and then I want to go on to the next thing. We're a little short on time, but we made a discovery this weekend that I want to go into. Okay. Off grid. I support do the mandates. God bless Canadians who are standing up for freedom. I think it's out of control. I think you're not asking me, but I think that a couple things that the government has done today. The Canadians, they remind me of Canadian geese, right? For the most part, I'm just going to stay over here and eat. Leave me alone. They're very cordial with each other, and they'll look at you and honk a little bit, but that's it. But you get some kid, and my son did this. They kept getting over near him, and he wanted to try and grab one of the babies. Woo! And then try to get away from him. Oh, no. No. The Canadian geese, once you step over the line, you've just unleashed a very consistent, persistent, and well-oiled group of people that now there ain't no backing down for them. There is no backing down. If the government, like this thing that they did by locking up their money in GoFundMe, in that interview with Jordan Peterson, he said that is the single worst thing that he has ever seen a horrendous government in Canada ever do in his lifetime. And I would have to agree, because it's collusion between the government and a national organization, to steal what rightfully belongs to that group of people who are in the midst of voicing their opinion and have been pushed to the limit. And when Canadians, I'd like to know, Nancy, how do you feel about that? Canadians see that makes their blood boil. So maybe they might have been on the fence before about this, like, well, that doesn't affect me. I really like the way Trudeau, dresses up and stuff. So I don't know. But I think now, when they did that, even I think of my liberal family members that are in Ottawa, like that must really irritate them. What if those were BLM funds that were locked up? Would they feel the same way about that? I mean, even process that way? Can they objectively look at a situation like, I don't know. It seems, honestly, sometimes it doesn't seem like liberals. It seems like sane and insane people to me. All right. And then this one's good, Nancy. The courts banned constant horn honking for 10 days in Ottawa. That seems a bit desperate to me. It's just me. So did they define constant horn honking like it's so many honks per of a minute that you can't? Like that would be hilarious, because then you just have to stay under that limit and you're good, right? And you can record phones so you can take it into the courts and prove I wasn't consistent. No, and then you know how Canadians are? They'll work together. They'll say, okay, you over there, you're going to get seconds 1 through 15, eh? And then you back there, you're going to take 16 through 29, eh? It's my Canadian. And carrying jerry cans too. Seems so desperate, but that's all that. I mean, they're trying to get people to go in there and tow the trucks out of the way. You get 50,000 trucks, how are you? Let's say you get 10. And I'm hearing that that's not going to work, because let's say that you have Tony's towing company that tows truckers. Let's say that Tony's towing company he's going to be having to change the name and swap out his employees, because they work hand in hand with the trucking companies. If you watch the show Highway Through Hell, and I'm sure that Nancy, have you traveled the what's the name of that highway? Cooch? No, sorry about that. I didn't mean that. The Coquihalla Highway, right? Highway Through Hell. I love that show. And these tow truck drivers go out and they do recoveries of semis that have gone off the road. And you'd think, shut the road down, but they can't, because semis got to go through, right? Well, recoveries cost thousands of dollars of equipment and personnel, and they call people that they work with, and then their insurance company pays out big time. Let's say so-and-so's recovery company goes down and starts towing trucks. They're done. They are done. They hate Trudeau too. Does anyone like a what to me? I never wore masks, social distance, quarantined, and lived my life as usual. But for those who work out, it's been a hard 2 years. I did not hear of anything going on in Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, I agree with you there, bro. It has been tough on people. And I think the nature of people like us is we didn't want to deal with even that. And so we've decided I will sacrifice what's there in the city to live here so I can maintain my way of life. I don't do well with people telling me what to do. I don't. I never did, even in the service. I didn't do well. People sensed that in me after a while, and they did not want to be the one to tell me what to do. All right. Nancy's saying, not in particular so far to a question. I don't remember which question it was, but because that was a ways back. But I don't see how so many police with the government overreach. The news that we're hearing that the police are really on board with this is the propaganda wing that's working very closely with the government. And is it the whole government? I mean, this is where this is right now. And I may be extrapolating this out, but I just know how this goes. All right. We're looking at this right now like, oh, it's just the government against some truckers, and maybe they'll just get tired and go home and beep their horn on the way home. No, that's not it. The government has said, you have to do what we say, or your livelihood, we're taking it away. And the truckers have nothing to lose right now by doing what they're doing. And their timeline is pretty much forever. I mean, you see trucks out there where they've put mailboxes out. It was like, we're not leaving, right? We're not going anywhere. And if they cannot get towing companies to tow them out of there, that city is going to be locked down for a long time. The government is kind of feeling like, well, if we capitulate to these peasants, that's how they feel about the truckers. I don't feel that way in any way, especially Canadian truckers. They're a lot of them are independent. They own their own rigs, and the Canadian government is so oppressive on so many fronts. It's a good place for a guy to go and seek refuge. Am I right? A lot of them very well spoken, very well versed, very like they probably were university instructors, but then they said, I'm going to go drive a truck. I could see it. I don't know that for a fact. I don't think I know one Canadian trucker. into a town near you. You're exactly right. So it's a rock and a hard place. The Ottawa people, Trudeau and his little band of merry men, bunch of gay boys, they being pressured by every governor, every mayor, every, all of our legislators, all filthy, rotten scoundrels. I mean, they are. They have been abusing us for a long time. They take our money. You wouldn't want any of them in your tribe. Right? I've tried to work with these people. I really have. You would not want them in your tribe. Why? Because they're parasites, right? And so they make a living out of lying to tell you that, oh yeah, we're going to do things your way. Yeah, you're right. We believe that you. But then they want just to get elected. And once they're elected, it's like a playground for them. They can run all kinds of games. There's no equity. There's all kinds of kickbacks and things like that. I go on and on about that, but they know, and we can go back to a Q post from a long time ago. Is coming when these people will not be able to walk the streets, and this is precisely what they're working. If the Ottawa government capitulates, then it is coming to a town near you. It is. And I could feel it today being up in the center of town and like driving past the county seat. Like, I wonder how you guys feel, like they're not all filthy rotten there. I mean, I live in a pretty conservative area, but there's a few of them in there. There's a few of them. And I wonder how they're feeling actually, because they know what they've done. Nancy's saying it's slow from what I hear. I don't remember what the question was. I'm really glad to see more in Canada resisting the mandates. And Nancy says, me too. We've kind of gone back and forth on this. Me and some of my sons have talked about this. That's the we that I'm talking about. And Jack too. Owen Benjamin, his rendition on the trucker thing. But every second that this goes by, the stakes go up. The stakes go up. Can you imagine, right? You've seen what happened January 6th, right? You go to Washington, you're going to protest. They swing the doors open for you to come in, and then they want to put you in jail. And they call you an insurrectionist and everything else. Can you imagine what happens to these truckers if they say, let's go home, eh? And they know it. What happens to them? Trudeau has already come out and called them racist, anti-Islamic. Why in the hell would he say that? How is anything that they've done in any way, shape, or form is racist? Anything. Homophobes. Oh, they're homophobes. What does that mean, actually? Homophobe. Like arachnophobe. That means you're afraid of spiders. Homophobe would mean you're afraid of homos? Afraid of? I don't know. I don't know anybody that runs from homos because they're afraid of homos, right? And I'm using the word homo there, but it's part of homophobe. And Trudeau said that the truckers are homophobes. How is that? But I'm actually glad to hear that, honestly, because it indicates that Trudeau, the first thing the little wiener did was he took off out of town. Oh, I got COVID, gotta go. Got COVID. Oh, I believe I've been exposed to somebody who has COVID-19. I better go, for the good of you, I better go and isolate myself. What a stinking liar, right? So first he runs, and then he comes back and he starts calling names. A bunch of homophobes. A bunch of arachnophobias. You're afraid of spiders and homos. What a geek. What a geek. he's proven his case, I think, that he's not fit to lead. Canadians are really good people. They are really, I don't, I kid him, when we say in the military, we always say, saying military, Canadian military is like saying jumbo shrimp, right? But it's just inter-country rivalry. They've actually got some absolute ferocious warriors, absolutely ferocious. Okay. Sean Wise says, Nancy says, gives hope to the world. It sure does. Owen said people accused him of being a killjoy or a buzzkill. And I say, yeah, he is. And he's saying that this whole trucker thing, it's going to not amount to anything, that it's an inside job. It's a way for them to gain power. Are you kidding me? If the government has a way of turning this around, let's say they do what they did to the January 6th people, they somehow, identify them as terrorists, throw them in jail, impound their equipment and all that stuff, which I think these truckers are prepared for that. I mean, that's what these people do. That might be a bridge too far. But what choice do they have? What choice? They either capitulate or they strong arm them. And they've come out, and this is how I know that they're not going to do this. They've come out, they hired a guy quit, and then another guy took his place, the chief of police of Ottawa. And he comes out and says, we're going to get tough. When you're going to get tough, you don't say you're going to get tough. You cold cock the other guy. That's how you get tough. You don't put your people in jeopardy by saying we're going to get tough, because what that does is that clues your adversary that it's okay. It's time to bring out the gun. Time to bring out the club, or it's time to form a line. It's time to get the word out. I almost says time to bring out the guns, but we know that's probably not going to happen. I hope. Jordan Peterson says, hold the line, boys, but keep your heads about you. Don't anybody do something stupid. With the January 6th thing, they were coming out and saying, oh, these rioters, they killed a guy. They killed a DC policeman or a Capitol policeman, right? They hit him in the head with a fire extinguisher. Well, it was a lie, but the media ran with it, said it for a week. And finally they had to say, well, actually it wasn't a fire extinguisher. The guy was a couple 100 pounds overweight and smoked like a tree or smoked like a train, and actually died of a heart attack. Had nothing to do with the rioters. He just died of a heart attack. But what they wanted to do was take to the public and say these people were violent, which I don't know. Like at some point, if this keeps going, it is going to come to violence. I mean, that's just the natural progression. So are they trying to psyop us into thinking that violence is not good? I don't know. It's hard to pontificate on that without somebody being able to twist your words. But I think that my former life was all about violence. The military is there to kill people and break stuff. We kill people and break stuff. Occasionally, if we're bored, we'll do humanitarian stuff. But if we have to get broken off of that to go kill and break stuff, we'll do that in an instant. It's like, and it's very impersonal. Hey, we're dropping bombs today. Who are we dropping? I don't give it. Yeah, I don't care. These are the coordinates. Just drop them. Yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad. I hate it. I hate it now. I really hate it. Sean Wise is a better hunter than a farmer. Well, you can change that. But having hunting, being a good hunter, good tracker, good trapper, wow, that's a good thing. I can do everything you named. Can you deliver a baby? Off grid. I wish we had more good people around here who were conservative, independent people. Well, if you were panning, looking for gold, and just saying, "I wish we had," do something about it. And I'm gonna get into that in a sec. I'm gonna broach it tonight because we're over, but then we're gonna talk about it a lot tomorrow. I'm just gonna go through the comments now. I don't want to go too long tonight. Ballistic says, I can do more than anyone I know, so I help others a lot, but need help too. But it's like trusting others, and that I don't do well. Yeah. Learning how to build trust is it's a tall drink of water for some guys, and I get that. I get that. I don't know what to do there because I'm like that too. Sometimes you just have to, I don't know what to tell you, but you got to keep doing what you're doing. And, my cadre here was really small for a while, really small. And there are people that I would like to, and I haven't, and I need to. Nancy has some good womanly advice here, which they're here for a reason. They're here for a reason. You could try asking someone for help where it's small job, perhaps to build trust. Perhaps. Canadian, perhaps. Love it. And Bryce is with us today. Bryce is with us. Off-grid North Country is sin. Is there anyone here part of the survivalist group I heard was based around Ruby Yard? I don't know. Maybe somebody has read that and will chime in. Survivalist, that's an old term, right? That's an old term. I wonder why it's stressful to you, lad. I wonder if there's something else that needs to be worked on. If we could get that ball of twine pulled apart and figure out what the stress is there. Maybe you're one of those guys that, I shouldn't kid about that. I was going to kid you, but I shouldn't kid like that. Well, there you go. You can do it. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I have every bit of confidence in everybody on here to, you don't have much choice. You got to overcome. There's no, I can't do it. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I'm struggling with it. Okay, you're struggling with it, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. You can do it. Everybody's done it. I struggle with certain things, but those are the things I have to work on first. Not like I did that today. I had some things that I should have been doing, but after my dental appointment, it was so traumatic. No, it wasn't. But I got home, had something to eat, cold out. I didn't have my long johns on. Yeah, so I went out and I did something that it was a facilities project. That's how I could sell that one. It was a facilities project. And Sean's taken off. Daddy Long Bear, yes to both. Yes to both what? Ballistic Mystic, my mom taught me to knit. I think that would be helpful in a lot of ways, my man. The Prime Minister, this is good. This is good Canadian stuff. They Canadians have a way of and I'm not reading this yet. I'm going to read it, but I just know what's coming. It's like very nice and respectful, but I mean, it just digs. So watch, let's see. The Prime Minister is in hiding. Makes me angry, but if I was there, I would not give in to showing it. Yep. drives those people crazy. Yes. They want anger because then they can react. It's move, counter move. But I think Jordan Peterson said it today. He said, when you can act as a professional and make it look like it's play, make it look like it's play. That is extreme professionalism, right? So it looks like you're just having fun, you know? And so when you can totally defy the Prime Minister of Canada with a smile on your face and a you know, a lightness in your demeanor, joking around, having fun. Those guys are going out and they're helping, they're shoveling snow, they're protecting property, and you know, they're good guys. These are truckers, man. They're good guys. Right? The Prime Minister, I think could it be half your country actually likes that guy? Okay, this is some words of wisdom right here from Nancy. The government lost as soon as the truckers stepped up. They just don't see it yet. Yeah, I think that's a profound statement. See, the truckers, they are an integral part of the society, right? They're the ones. It's sort of like if the animals revolted here, and I really wanted to show them who was boss, I would just cut off their food, right? All right. So the truckers working together can cut off the food and really cause the place to break down. They're going to show just how important, not just food, it's everything. It's everything. But you know what impresses me about what they're doing? They're if there's 3 lanes, they leave one open. If there's 2 lanes, they leave one open. Right? So they're not really blocking traffic, right? Anybody who wants to travel those roads can. They can. Emergency vehicles, fire, rescue, all that stuff. The truckers are real good about that, leaving, you know, the emergency lane open. So they're being really good about that. They understand that. Yeah, they would understand that. That is the rules. So Nancy is saying the government lost as soon as the truckers stepped up. They just don't know it yet. Huh. I'm going to tell some of my friends about that tomorrow, that you said that, if you don't mind. Andy, Mark, I keep losing quite a bit of what you're talking about there. I'm on the road hauling water tanks, but to the farm. So do a little scrounge. Okay, gotcha. Ballistic says, I might be racist, but I'm not racially prejudiced. Huh. Here's another one from Nancy. I'm glad you're with us, Nancy. Wish you lived closer to us. The only people who believe legacy media are the ones in mass psychosis. Is that sort of like the other day when I went to Hobby Lobby and I saw a guy pull up in a pickup truck with a plow on by himself, and he had a face mask on. I thought, what is wrong with this guy? Who are you? Are you still listening to all the clowns that are going away now, I guess? It's just weird. No one likes Trudeau. I don't mind if you say it. It's the same when USA truckers go to DC. The only thing is, who said this today? When the truckers go to DC, there's nobody there, but it will call quite a bit of attention to DC, and we get to see, hey, where is everybody? You know, how come all these buildings are closed down and all that stuff? I don't know. So I do hear that is in the works. You know, I don't want to say I'm not going to get involved in politics, but I have said to you that if I was the county sheriff here, and that would probably be about where I would land, for me to go to Lansing, to the state capital, that wouldn't be a good place for me. And plus, if you're a state rep, you're one of 112. If you're a senator, you're one of 53. So who are you really? I mean, you got the three-piece suit and you get paid pretty good, but you don't get to live in a good place. You got to rent a room from somebody. It's not paying that well. But at the county level, you can really have an impact because you can free the people of the county from the shenanigans of the state. You can actually free them, right? And cause a serious wedge. Like, we have 83 counties in Michigan. And if you have one county that all of a sudden there's like no restrictions there at all. As a matter of fact, the county sheriff will go and talk to people who are telling employees that they must do this. It's like, no, and you have someone like the sheriff come and assure these people that they are American citizens that have rights. That's where I would land. A guerrilla fighter, I guess, is what I would. And I got this from the movie Joe Wales, actually. But it's, if you're part of the and still stand in a line and shoot at each other, and you're told to stand in the line and get ready, let them shoot at you first. So good. But if you are a guerrilla fighter, you can hide behind trees and you can pick off the important guy, the guy that gives the orders. Fighters, as far as like the redcoats are concerned, they're heathens, they're savages. I guess Civil War was a bad analogy. Revolutionary War would be more in line. They were, but on a platform like this, a sheriff couldn't get into the detail that I get into, because you are the sheriff of all the people that have elected. I mean, you're the sheriff of the people who didn't even elect you. You have, and you could get on and say some pretty radical things like, guess what, you guys, you hired me to protect your constitutional rights. That's my job full time. That's what I do. Yeah, we do run the jail. I have somebody that works for me that runs the jail, but that's not my thing. That's not my primary. My primary is to protect your constitutional rights. From who? The Russians? No. Most likely it would be from federal and state officials. Or if you had a county commission that decided to step in and say, we don't think people should be able to have lazy boys on their front lawns, so we're making a fatwa. No lazy boys on the front lawn. As the county sheriff, I would say, you knock that off right now. These people have a constitutional right to their process per the Fifth Amendment. And if they want to have their lazy boy on their front lawn, I don't like it any better than you do, but you are not going to impede their constitutionally protected process. You may not like it. Now, if somebody's running a bordello, I would be the first one to cuff and stuff, because that's against the law in this state. That's a law, right? And then the county sheriff is he employs law enforcement officers, right? He has a law enforcement officer that works directly under him, the county sheriff. I mean, the undersheriff that works directly for the sheriff. The sheriff is accountable to the people, but the undersheriff is accountable to the sheriff, and the deputies, strangely enough, work for the undersheriff. Strangely enough, that's how the chain of command works. So whenever the county sheriff would like to speak to one of the deputies, it's would be correct protocol to say, "Hey, undersheriff, come on in here. You got a problem with this guy. He used the F word with so and so's aunt, and I would like to counsel him, or you could, but I prefer to do it." And if the undersheriff said, "With all due respect, sheriff, I think I'll handle that," my next move would be say, "Okay, but I want to be present because I want to make sure you're doing your freaking job." Something like that, you know. The sheriff can do a lot, a whole lot, as far as a wedge in the system. And I learned a lot of this from my good friend Richard Mack. All right, let me finish these up, and I'm going to let you guys go. Chrono says, "Good luck with your rebrand, Mark." Yeah, it's really not luck, man. This is where I depend on you, tribes people. I'm depending on you to help with this. You got to let people know. When we want to start up a new brand, YouTube's not going to help us out with it. We're not their favorites. So I'm dependent on you, with all due respect, to do this. Sorry to say those people, but they are not wired like free thinkers. Oh, yeah, you were talking about the mass psychosis people. Yeah, I know. It's weird. Really weird. And it has divided, done a lot of division, in my life. But, I'm not fretting about it. There's no possible way that I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to compromise my position to just so I can be friends with these people that seem to be, I don't know where are you, but I think, the trust the plan thing, I believe there is a plan here, because who have we seen go down in the last few days? This guy that was the CEO of CNN. Well, he had a relationship with somebody else and he failed to disclose it, so he better step down. These guys are brutal, and we're to believe that he's such a gentleman that he had a consensual relationship with another divorced woman and he failed to disclose it. No, somebody's got him by the short ones, and they're making him, and he's just telling you that he's such an honorable guy. These guys are such liars. I mean, use your head here, All right. And who else? Mad Cow's gone. I could not stand that thing. Rachel Maddow has stepped aside to work on another project. Don Lemon's been switched to a different time frame that nobody watches. Fredo is gone. Fredo Cuomo is gone. Andrew Cuomo, he's toast. Who else? And the underlings, the names that you don't see, but I've seen these lists, and there's a lot of them that are being swept away. With that in mind, we I think at some point we will see county officials go too. I do. All right. Chrono makes a statement. Sheriff and county commissioners are the most important elected officials by far. Yeah. The thing that the sheriff has going for him is he takes his oath, and at his disposal, he has people that have arresting authority, right? A county commissioner does not have arresting authority, nor does he command anybody that has arresting authority. A county commissioner can go to a sheriff's deputy and say, "I want you to arrest him because he violated his oath of office." Not going to happen. Can't, right? Different chain of command. The county sheriff can say, I want that county commissioner picked up. Well, I don't know if that would work. I don't know. Let me think that through. I better not make that statement. I was fully prepared to hammer that out. You really have to play it out. You have to play it out. And the sheriff, to have an effective situation, needs to have a good relationship with the prosecutor, unless the county sheriff has a posse, right, of strong civilians that are mobbed up and that meet up and run their meetings accordingly, that can be called the sheriff's posse. They can. Now, he does not command them. He cannot command them because they're not law enforcement officers. But he can have some sway. So they could bring charges against, I better not say, because I'm not exactly sure. We don't have a grand jury. We don't have a grand jury the way it was supposed to be, because we don't have constitutional sheriffs. That's why we don't have a grand jury. Grand jury has been shifted over to the prosecutor. So the grand jury is in place to hold accountable county officials, but they own it. So to bring charges against the county official, you have to go through the prosecutor, and the prosecutor is one of them, right? And they're kind of like a little club, and it's their tribe. They kind of, look out for each other. So it's a little bit touchy, but if you have a constitutional sheriff, that constitutional sheriff can say to the prosecutor, I need to talk. Say, we got a problem here. You got a bunch of people that are viewing this individual, let's say a county commissioner, that has done something and is not being held accountable. I'm with the people. They elected me, so they are asking me to do something. Now I'm asking you to do something. So are you gonna or not? You do know I interface with these people closely, and that's where the sheriff's power comes from. You'd think of, like, sheriff, why don't you just do your job and stay in your office? That's not where his job is. His job is at the kitchen tables of the people who have elected him, who have concerns about the way the county is being run. And at least you can do is sit at their table and drink a cup of coffee with them and hear what they have to say. At least you can do that. But that rattles the tree when you're listening to the people who've elected you. That really rattles the tree. So I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying at this point, this is a better position, right? Until I don't know, until things change. All right, so I'm going to get going. I appreciate people coming by. Tomorrow, I'm going to do like part 2 of tribe building. And this here is a technique. This is the technique that I discovered this weekend, and I want to talk to you all about it so that if you choose to, you can implement it, and then we can get some feedback from you as to how it went. It's real easy for me to sit down and say, build you a tribe, but not tell you how to do it. I'll see you. Good night, Nancy. Au revoir.